I wonder, as he got older, his friends that I didn't know, but like the people he started to get to know when he was like a teenager and young adult, always described him as like being so fun and like adventurous and like understanding and nice and funny. So it's like Jamison came out of his shell. One girl said that like he would, like, they went to the Coup, like a music venue where bands play together, and he like grabbed her hand and just took her into the where everyone was dancing, and they started dancing, which was like really unlike the kid who used to cry when he had to get his photo taken. So he came out of his shell. I wonder, I mean, clearly if shyness and stuff was an issue for him, he somehow overcame a lot of it. I don't know if it was by conscious effort or if he just grew out of it and it just kind of happened or what, but yeah, I wonder to what extent his understanding, everyone said he was so understanding, you could just be there with him and he just understood. He just kind of understood how you were feeling sometimes, and I just wonder to what extent that ability of his was maybe shaped by all the disappointments and the injuries to his self-perception, his self-esteem, his self-concept, his identity that he had suffered over the years as a child, like being embarrassed when he didn't get in band and stuff. I mean, I know everyone goes through life and suffers disappointments. I'm just speculating about him. No one likes to fail at stuff.
Do it! What?
Have to fight the last boss, I think.
Whoa. Where are we? Oh.
It's beautiful.
Admire it another time.
Dandelions.
Right. We need to find Master Xehanort.
Yeah.
So, let's go check out the town.
I'm extremely happy that Donald and Goofy are there for the final fight, instead of just a bunch of stupid anime characters.
Sure are a lot of walls.
What's the point of coming back here?
Xehanort has to be somewhere in town.
Let's go ask at the police station.
It sure is awful quiet here.
There's no one around.
Hey! What? What's going on? Are you serious?
Get on to the station.
Oh, I don't think they're the locals.
Ready?
Good grief.
Back off! Back off! Strike! Heal! Yeah!
My shield's ready.
Oh, okay. Can't go up further.
Thanks! Heal! Try this! So long! Win!
Got him.
Of all the places to be sent.
Master Xehanort!
Behold, this town. Once a seat of power for all Keyblade wielders. It is the nexus from which all worlds spring. Here I and my other selves can be one. United in Scala et Caelum.
Let's get him.
Yeah! You guys okay?
Down.
Final boss time.
Xehanort!
We are just getting started. Come on. Come on, dog. Your speed.
That was pathetic. Fire! Blaze!
Come on. Foolish.
Ah, shoot.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Oh no! Ah, hit the wrong button. Yeah, why not? Donald, thank you. Ooh. Oh, no Donald and Goofy? Okay. Oh, please no.
Come on. Sleep in the depths of darkness.
Okay. I'm gonna try this rat cooking minigame. I got the final boss down to 1 health bar and died. Just now realized I was using second tier spells because I kept forgetting that it doesn't replace your spells like in earlier games. You gotta equip the new spells. So I was using inferior spells, and now I'm gonna get the stat boosts from cooking, and
We bought some ingredients.
I'm gonna go beat him. This is my first time with this minigame.
Nice.
Hey, I cracked an egg.
All right. We did it.
Yeah! How old are you, Sora? Oh, wow, that was really simple. Man, cooking's easy. No.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. How's that? Yeah. Yes. How's that?
Ratatouille.
Yeah. Yes. How's that? Yeah. All right. We did it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. How's that?
Oh.
Ha! My bistro's future is looking bright.
The new recipes are a smash. Those ingredients of yours must really have got little chef's gears a-turning. Soon we'll be chasing customers away. Keep up the good work.
We try. Right, little chef? Oh. Ha! Oops! Oh no! Sorry.
What?
Oh. Ha! Oops! Oh no!
Okay, I don't know what to do.
Sorry. Oh. Ha! Oops! Oh no! Sorry. Yeah. Ha! Yes! How's that? Oh. Ha! All right! We did it!
Okay, I get it. Let's try this one again.
Oh. Ha! Yes! How's that? Yeah.
Yay!
All right! We did it! Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yay!
All right! We did it!
Oh boy.
Oh. Ha! Oops! Oh no! Sorry.
Luckily I got a bunch of these.
Oh. Ha!
Yay!
All right! We did it! Yeah.
Okay.
All right! We did it! Oh. Ha! Oops!
Ah,
Oh no!
I hate this one.
Sorry. Oops! Oh no! Ha!
Good? No, I think that was excellent. Alright. This game sucks.
Me business is booming! Splendid, just splendid. You two have outdone yourselves. The critics are going cuckoo and the register ka-ching! I cannot wait to see what it is you'll cook up next. Nor can the customers.
We try. Right, little chef? Yeah. Yes! How's that?
It's typhoon season, it's raining outside. This is a video about failure and shame and petty annoyances and just bad stuff. I'm here at well, this cafe that I'm at is called I don't know if it's gonna focus, okay, May Forest Cafe. I keep wanting to call it Mayweather Cafe, and I wanted to make the joke, I'm here at the appropriately titled Mayweather Cafe, but it doesn't work. I'm here at the May Forest Cafe. It's at the base of the mountain that I hike in some of these videos. It's really close to the Buddha temple from, was it episode 12, episode 13? There are fairy tale themed drinks at this cafe, such as the Maleficent, or the one I ordered, the Shrek and Fiona. So, earlier today I went to take the Korean driver's license course test. I can drive. If you watched other videos, you've heard stories of me driving across the United States with Jamison. I've driven up and down the states. I've driven across the states long ways. I've gone east to North Carolina. I've gone west to California. I've gone north to Seattle. I've driven some up to to New Jersey, New York. I've been driving since I was like 15, 16, whenever I know how to drive. My license expired because I haven't been in the States in over 5 years now. A couple days ago I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary at my school. My 5-year anniversary of being in Korea has already passed. That was July 24th. So I've been out of the States, this is an emergency warning. I've been out of the States for a while. I haven't been driving. I've been using the excellent public transit in Korea. My license expired. Decided very recently that I want to get a Korean driver's license. If you have a valid license from the States, you can exchange it. I don't have a valid license anymore because it's expired, so I had to take the test and stuff from scratch. So I took the written exam, passed it on my first try. Step 2 is the course test, and after that there's a road test. So the course test, you go to this course, like a contained, controlled course, and you drive around it and you're in the car by yourself with the GPS. The GPS talks to you and gives you very specific instructions. And this test, most people watching this are not going to know about this, but to people in Korea, foreigners in Korea who share information on the internet, this is infamous for being just brutal and unforgiving, because you can waltz in there knowing how to drive, being an experienced driver, and still very easily fail it. You gotta follow instructions from the GPS, and it's very specific about when the window of time that you should do the action it tells you to do starts. and if you do it first, it doesn't count, or you might even get like docked points for doing something that they didn't tell you to do. Like if maybe the voice is saying like, now we're going to check your blinkers, and so you think, okay, I'll do my blinkers, but all she's doing is introducing that you're about to be asked to do some stuff with your blinkers. So if you touch the blinkers before she actually gives you a specific command, you're docked points. Start out with 100 points. If you get below 80, you fail instantly. And that sounds pretty forgiving, but it's not, because everything docks at least... I was going to say at least 5, but I think there's a couple things that only take off 3. Or maybe, I don't know, it might be 5. But there's some stuff that takes off 10, a lot, and there's 1 or 2 things that take off 15. So you can't really mess up at all, and it's incredibly easy to mess up. We're gonna check your blinkers. Okay, cool, wait. Okay, activate your left blinker. If you press down on the button just as she's finishing that sentence on the blinker, it's too early, you're docked points. You have to wait for like a countdown thing on the GPS to begin. This isn't really explicitly explained to you. I found a lot of this stuff out from reading stuff on Reddit and watching videos from people who had themselves failed the test and been shocked that they failed it. I watched and rewatched videos and like paused and rewound, and one of those videos was 59 minutes long. The course is like 7 to 9 minutes long. One of those videos was 59 minutes long, and he had taken notes, and he like went over every section of the course in painstaking detail. Every possible way is possible to lose points in that section. And I studied that video. And I went in and I failed. I fucking failed. One of the mistakes was like my fault, admittedly. The instruction said turn on your headlights, and I turned on my high beams, and then it said now turn on your high beams, and I was already on high beams, and it wasn't gonna register because I have to like do the action of turning on the high beams after it says that, but I was already on high beams, so I turned back to headlights first and then turned to high beams. Minus 5 points. Whoops. Guess I don't know how to drive. And then the next thing I was docked points for was, I don't even know. Like it said something and I couldn't understand it because the sound quality, the speakers of the GPS are not very good. Don't know what she said, don't know why I missed points. When I go to retake it again, I might lose points on that same thing again. Hope I hear it next time. One of the things is like, because you're on a weird course and not on an actual like road with other like real drivers going about their lives, you don't do everything exactly as you would in real life. So a lot of the stuff I read and watched was very, very particular about like, don't do anything unless it tells you to. And I remember reading in more than one place, like, you're not going to use your blinkers at such and such place, even though you would use your blinker there in real life. You don't use them on the test, or you will be docked points. It's going to feel strange not to use your blinker here, but don't do it. If you do it, you'll lose points. So I rolled up to the first intersection, and where I'm normally, like, I'm turning left, I would obviously signal left. Intentionally didn't signal. The GPS didn't say anything about me signaling. I went through. Failure to signal, minus, I forget if it was 5 or 10 points, I forget. I went back and checked the video after I got home, and the one I watched, the guy, the 59-minute one, the guy was like, there are only 3 times in the entire course you're gonna signal. When you're first starting, the second time you go through the intersection, specifically the second time, only the second time, and then when you're finishing the course and you're about to like stop the vehicle. So my first time through, I was like remembering the stuff about it's gonna feel weird not to signal, but don't do it. So I didn't signal, lost points. So when I went back and reviewed the video and I was like, aha, you were wrong and you messed me up, I realized he had been tested in a different facility than I had. They're all really similar, but they're not exactly the same. They're not perfectly uniform. And so when he'd gone through the intersection the first time, he had gone straight through it. When I go through the intersection the first time, I turn left through it. And I know to signal in real life. I get it. But I can't keep all of these little details straight in my head, so I thought the courses would be uniform. I didn't remember the exact details of the course he was on. I remembered specifically the, like, it's gonna feel weird not to signal, but don't do it stuff. Lost points, and then there's randomly in the course, the emergency lights will come on, or there's like a thing on your dashboard, it'll go brrr, and like the light comes on. You have to immediately come to a complete stop and turn on your hazard lights. So I was ready for that, because I knew it was gonna happen at some point. I was going slow, I was going under 20 kilometers per hour. It came on as soon as I went through the intersection, so I'm still frazzled from having just lost points for something that I thought the signal, which I specifically thought I was supposed to not do in this case. Still frazzled. Emergency thing comes on. I come to a complete stop. Perfect. I go to press the hazard lights. The hazard button. Can't find the button. I haven't been on the inside of on the driver's side of a car checking out like my functions in a good long while. I did yesterday. One of my friends here, Rose, that I go hiking with, has a car. Let me sit in the car and check that stuff out. It was only after I had been docked points, which finally got me below 80, it dropped me to 75, and the voice is like, you have failed the course test. It was only after that that I noticed the hazard button in this car looks different than every other hazard button I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not making that up, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not just saying that because I'm mad. I've never seen a hazard button that looks like that. If I have, I haven't noticed it. Like, I've never consciously perceived and made note of the fact here's a hazard button that looks like this ever in my life until today when I fucking failed the test. I will put them on the screen. Here's the one I'm used to seeing. Maybe over here so you can still see my face. Here's the one I'm used to seeing. Here's the one that was inside the car that I was driving for the course test. It seems like a small difference, but when, like, I'm looking for a very specific pattern of like small triangle inside big triangle, red lines, black filling, whatever. I'm looking for that, and like maybe it's just how my brain works, but like seeing a solid red triangle like didn't register. My eyes went right over it because it wasn't the thing I was looking for and it wasn't the thing I was expecting to see. Didn't press it within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, so you have to stop within you have to come to a complete stop within 2 seconds and then press the hazard button within 3 seconds. And I did not press it within 3 seconds. And that's like, I think that's 10 points. That's what failed me, and they immediately stop you, you don't even keep going. So I didn't even get to practice the rest of it. I was about to go to the parking spot where you got a perpendicular park, and if you go over the line, which is easy to do because it's narrow, you lose like 15 points. I think it's 15. It's at least 10, but I think it's 15. That's apparently where a lot of people fail. I didn't even get to practice it, so next time when I go there, spend another $22 motherfucking. I hope I can do it okay, because I sure as hell don't want to do this again, because like the only testing facility near me is still in another city. It's like an hour bus ride away. It took me longer than an hour. Bus ride was like 5.6, like 5,601, like 6,000, something like round up, whatever. One way, and then of course I gotta take it back, so that's 12 bucks. That's 11.2 bucks, whatever. And then a taxi from the bus terminal, because the bus terminal is not near the driving testing facility. Taxi was like 10, it was like 9 point something, 9.6, it was like 10 bucks. One way. So that's another, basically 20 bucks. Okay, so we got 20 for the taxi, all things considered. We got like 12 for the buses to the other city. We got 22 for the test. And I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to do this is gonna cost me $100, like at the least. That's if I pass next time. I don't even know if I will. Because like one of the things I messed up on, I don't even like, I pored over these videos and over this information. I watched videos of people actually driving the course with a car with a camera inside the car, cameras outside the car from different angles showing you the car going on the course at every section of every stop of the way. Like, I put aside everything else I was doing in my life for like 3 days and hardcore watched these. Still failed. So I could very easily fail again. One of the things I got docked points for, I don't know what it was. So this is gonna cost me $100 at least, like maybe more. And then I have to take the road test. And like the thing is, when you take the road test, you're actually driving on a real road with real traffic, like in real, I don't know what's going to happen. There might be a drunk driver, I might die, someone might cut over the traffic, there might be an accident. Like, you're driving on a real road with real people, with a human instructor in your car and other students in the car, other driving students in the car, and the driving students take turns at different parts. You have other people's lives in your hands, the lives of strangers, and strangers have your life in their hands. And there's a human instructor in the car. If safety is a concern, if ethics are a concern, if they're worried about someone being dishonest, why are you stuffing human beings in the car with me for the dangerous part, but you make me follow a janky GPS instructions? A set of janky GPS instructions. A janky GPS's instructions, there we go. For the course test, for these oddly specific things, like, I know how to drive. I wouldn't have failed. This apparently has like an 80% fail rate, like this test. People on Reddit think that it's intentionally designed to fail people to encourage them to go enroll in like hagwons, which are like academies, like driving hagwons. I mean, I can't prove that. I don't know if that's the case. It wouldn't really surprise me. You spend a ton of money. That seems really shady and unethical and dishonest. Don't really know what I can do about it though. Like I mean, if I want a license, I have to do this. I just want a license in case, like, I don't even want to get a car here. Driving here is a pain, I think, but if I ever like rent a car in Jeju or something, because I have to go back to Jeju, because the time I went last year with Bobby, if you watch the videos, you know how that turned out. Like, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Didn't get to hike up the mountain that I wanted to hike up. This is related to Jamison, kind of, I promise. Like, yeah, like, the buses come so infrequently in Jeju, sometimes you wait like half an hour for them, so it's better to rent a car. My girlfriend got a car, and she wants me to be legally able to drive when we go places together, just in case something happens, which is very reasonable. But yeah, so like I have to get my, I have to get, like, to get my license, I have to go through this. I'm looking at like taking the course test again and like hoping I don't fail, even if I get past the stuff that like messed me up today. Like, I hope I don't go over the line in the parking area that's way too narrow. Hope I don't make some other like just baffling mistake. And then I have to take the road test, and apparently people fail the road test a lot too. And this sucks. Last night, so I like my coffee cold. I always get iced coffee, and last night I brewed some coffee in my home, let it cool on the counter, and then stuck it in the fridge to have it nice and cold for the next morning. While I was brewing the coffee, I accidentally knocked the thing that holds the filter over the cup into the sink where a plate I had just used to eat some eggs was. It cracked the plate in half. That was one of my favorite plates. I had two of them, now I just have one. It was the only plate I have that's big enough where I can like safely put all the stuff I want to put on it when I'm cooking certain dishes and like not be worried about it spilling over the side. I broke that plate. I broke a plate last night. Made my coffee, stuck it in the fridge, woke up this morning, was really nervous because I knew this test was going to be hard. Realized that if I drank the coffee I had broken a plate for last night, I would be too nervous and I'd be too shaky and it would mess me up, and so I didn't drink the coffee. I got up pretty early in the morning. Took the bus, went to the testing facility. It's raining. Took the test, failed. Came back. Decided to come out here to record. Went out to catch the bus here. It's a long walk here and the weather was not great. The bus I wanted said 7 minutes away. I was like, cool, that's pretty close. So I looked down, I reached into my pocket to get my wallet out. To get my bus card ready. Looked up, the bus I wanted that had just said 7 minutes away was shooting past, and I looked at the monitor and it had immediately changed to that same bus number 30 minutes away. So the 7 minutes, I guess, hadn't been updated in a while, and it was actually like about to come immediately. So I decided, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna walk here. I mean, I could wait that long for the bus, but it would take me about that long to walk, so it actually took me longer to walk. Accidentally stepped in a puddle that didn't seem like that much of a puddle. Slid, got mud all over my foot. kept walking here. It started pouring rain. Put up my umbrella, walking on the sidewalk. Car driving by, like, movie splashes me. Like, tidal wave, muddy water splashes on my body. Which at that point, it, like, doesn't even bother me. It's just whatever. Okay. No, you're not watching this, but if you are, then thank you. This is where it kind of becomes relevant. This is where I tie together. I don't know if I showed my drink earlier. This is Shrek and Fiona. Tastes like a cup of coffee with some sugar and ice cream in it. Actually, it tastes pretty good. It's got mint. I'm in a bad mood. Okay. I'm upset about this. Like, I know how to drive, but so I was like nervous about this test, and I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she was like super nervous about driving, and she's short, and like driving is a pain for her. And she, prior to very recently, like after I met her, she had not driven since she was like 19 when she first took the test and got her license, and since then she's just had her license this whole time and she's, I guess, renewed it, or I don't know how it works in Korea, but she hadn't driven since she was 19, so like no experience. So she's very recently been driving again, and she was like trying to reassure me. She was like, "Don't worry, you'll do fine, honey. I passed the test." My friend went over the line, and so like in the parking section, apparently one of her friends went over the line, and so like just left without actually doing the parking thing and passed. Like she didn't do one of the required parts of the course because she messed up and freaked out, but she passed the test. Maybe it was different back then, I don't know. She's like, "You'll do fine," and like she didn't do anything wrong, but I'm just saying, like, it's, and then I go in there and I fail it, and I feel like shit. Okay. Once a week I meet with a book club, and it's like a Christian fellowship thing, kind of. We read through the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, which I had already read in 2017, read it again with them. It's a fantastic book. Finished that, and then we started reading a book called Why Emotions Matter. One of the guys, or one of the actual married couple in the group, recommended. And just so happens, the chapter today that I read for today, because I'm supposed to meet them later, was about shame, which seems pretty relevant. So, shame is described in that book as the feeling you have when you feel that your identity is being threatened. And it talks about the idea of like our identities, and the things, the appearances or the skills or the competencies that we have wrapped up in our identities, where if we fail at something, we feel that our identity is compromised and we're ashamed, and we like worry about what other people think about us. Most of my life I've had difficulty with like kind of real worldy type things. Be hard pressed to give an example right now. Like, I'm not great with my hands. I don't know exactly how to talk about that. I'm not great with my hands. Like, my mom used to tell me that I probably didn't want to work on an assembly line because it just wouldn't be my kind of job, and she's right. Like I'm a teacher, and like when I have like printed out papers for students, worksheets or whatever, and I'm handing them out, I am slow at separating each individual sheet of paper to hand out. And it's like a source of stress for me. I'm ashamed of it. It embarrasses me. I'm 32 years old, and like I'm not good at this. And it seems like other people are. Like, so like the other teachers, it's like they'll either do it, or like they'll let me do it, but like they're clearly waiting for me, and just I know I'm slow. I don't know why. I'm just not great with my hands. I'm just not, like a lot of weird things like that, I am just not that great at. And I'm insecure about it. Like, I mean, it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it's stuff that I try not to let people see, because then they might be like, "What's wrong with this guy?" And so when I'm like bad at something and fail at something that I know other people did fine at and thought was no big deal, it makes me feel bad. and so it's just embarrassing, and it makes me feel crappy. But like, all of that said, I do think this like course test is a really stupid way of testing people on driving. I know I can drive, so like I'm not gonna sit here and like invalidate my criticisms of that, because I think I'm reasonable there. If that many people fail it, I feel like something's wrong. And granted, like, I'm all for making sure people are good at driving before letting them legally go out on the roads. What I'm saying is that I don't think this test accurately measures whether or not someone is going to be good and safe at driving. This test is just a bizarre memorization game. Like, you're not gonna be... You know what to do when you're driving. I know what to do when I'm driving. I've never been in an accident. But like when I play Simon Says with the GPS that I can barely understand, it's different. Anyway, that aside, I am ashamed and embarrassed because some people pass it anyway. So, you know, some of those people might be like, well, I did just fine. What's wrong with you? Well, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. Maybe just bad luck. Maybe just you happened to catch on to something or see something that I did, and your brain was able to process, oh, the hazard lights button looks different in this car. Never seen one like that, but that's got to be what it is. Shucks, I guess I'll press it within these 3 seconds. And I didn't do that. It just didn't happen for me. Makes me feel stupid, but I know I'm not stupid. So yeah, I mean, no one likes failure. So I'm saying this. Shame, failure, bad feelings, the feeling of wanting to hide from people. Shame can, this is according to the book I'm reading, Why Emotions Matter. Shame, some people, shame manifests in them like distancing themselves from loved ones, and like they self-sabotage relationships with people and stuff. Sounds pretty accurate. So it's got me thinking about, I was in band. I was the older brother, and I did well in school. Jamison actually did better in school than I did, for the most part. But that's because he like tried harder, but I still did very well in school. I was in band. I tried out for band, tried out for trumpet, and got it. I was in band all 3 years of middle school. Jamison wanted to be in band. Jamison wanted to play the drums. It was like really important to him, and he was really hoping he'd get it. Jamison tried out for drums, did not get it, and was really disappointed. I remember him coming home and like going up to his room and to our room, but I think I wasn't up there, and crying, and my mom told me like, Jamison's really disappointed. He wanted to play drums and he didn't get drums. He's crying. He didn't talk about that stuff with people. He wasn't comfortable with those types of conversations. But yeah, I mean, that probably, like, knowing that his older brother succeeded in, you know, being in the band, and then that he failed to get what he wanted, probably hurt him some, probably made him feel bad. Jamison was a perfectionist, and he was always really hard on himself as a kid. He held himself to really high standards. I mean, I don't know why exactly. I think this is some manifestation of that same thing, but when he was so little, when he was elementary school, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, whatever, and his class would take pictures and stuff together, he would cry when he had to get his picture taken. My mom would have to go get him, and that would make me so mad. Like, why are you crying? Why are you weak? And maybe, maybe it was some manifestation of that. Maybe he was embarrassed at his inability to comfortably navigate those types of social situations. I really hope the camera doesn't pick up this music. Beautiful, like diamonds in the sky. Yeah. When I was in 6th grade, at the end of the year, the band ceremony, I got most improved, which is it's like maybe an award, and maybe an honorable distinction. It's like you've come a long way, but there's also a most outstanding category that I did not get. I got most improved. So is that like I sucked really bad at the beginning, but then got a lot better? I mean, and like, I was kind of embarrassed by that award. Jamison, my family came to the award ceremony, I think it was at the tail end of a concert, and Jamison was like really proud of me for that. I was embarrassed. He was proud. Maybe he was too young to fully understand, or maybe he just saw it differently than I did. The next year, 7th grade, I got most outstanding, so I know like I did a good job that year. But I remember Jamison. He he competed in the science fair one year, like the county science fair. I think it went beyond just the school, and he didn't win. And so like we all went there for the show or whatever, and then he didn't win. And I don't think he was that disappointed about it, but then I don't know, because he didn't usually talk about that stuff and share that stuff. So on the way home, I think I was the one who said, I was like, how about we go to Sonic to celebrate Jamison's failure? And we all treated it like a big joke, and Jamison laughed too, and I think he thought it was funny, because I think he understood that it wasn't mean-spirited, that we didn't think any less of him for having not won the science fair. I hope he knew that. It seemed like he knew, or it seemed like he understood, but I hope there wasn't some secret private shame on the inside. Hope he wasn't embarrassed, hope he wasn't super disappointed. I don't know how much he cared. I wonder, as he got older, so I see, of like his friends that I didn't know, but like the people he started to get to know when he was like a teenager and young adult, always described him as like being so fun and like adventurous and like understanding and nice and funny. So it's like Jamison came out of his shell. One girl said that like he would, like they went to the Coup, like a music venue where bands play together, and he like grabbed her hand and just took her into the where everyone was dancing, and they started dancing, which was like really unlike the kid who used to cry when he had to get his photo taken. So he came out of his shell. I wonder, I mean, clearly if shyness and stuff was an issue for him, he somehow overcame a lot of it. I don't know if it was by conscious effort or if he just grew out of it and it just kind of happened or what, but yeah, I wonder to what extent his understanding, everyone said he was so understanding, you could just be there with him and he just understood. He just kind of understood how you were feeling sometimes. And I just wonder to what extent that ability of his was maybe shaped by all the disappointments and the injuries to his self-perception, his self-esteem, his self-concept, his identity that he had suffered over the years as a child, like being embarrassed when he didn't get in band and stuff. I mean, I know everyone goes through life and suffers disappointments. I'm just speculating about him. No one likes to fail at stuff. I always did well, and I always followed the rules, and I was like a little moral policeman as a kid. Like my dad would burp and I would tell him, what do you say? And like make him say excuse me, or like I would make sure he washed his hands every time he used the bathroom. I'm sure I was just like a nightmare to be around and live with. I don't think that makes me stuffy or boring though. I'm fine with that aspect of who I am. I think, I'm not going to go too much into this, but I think society has gotten a little too lax on like, no, there is right and wrong. There are right and wrong things. And if a thing is wrong, it's wrong, and you don't do it. You don't just be like, everyone's no, like don't do it if it's wrong. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like, anyway, I'm not concerned about being stuffy or overly moral or whatever, but anyway. What was it? Hold on, what was I saying? Anyway, yeah, so I was that kind of kid, and I did well, and I listened to my parents, and I never really gave them grief. They never worried about me. And I did well in school, and Jamison was the more difficult one. And it was just like his personality, and then as he got older, I think he cared less about school because like the friends he started to hang out with didn't really care that much about it, and then he's got into drugs and stuff. And he went to college, and he was really smart, and he had a scholarship and stuff, and he blew it all because he didn't go to his classes, and then he took out loans to pay for more drugs, and just everything kind of spiraled out of control and burned, and he lost his scholarship, and he killed his chances of ever easily going to school. Like, it was all paid for, and he killed his chances of ever just easily coasting through getting a 4-year university degree ever again. He could do it, but it wouldn't be easy anymore because he'd have to work and like pay for it himself. And then, of course, he never even got that because he died. But I just wonder. I wonder if by that point in his life his standards had mellowed out and he didn't really care or think about it that much, or if he felt a lot of shame. And as I've discussed in previous videos, I didn't try to lord my goodness over him, like my holiness over him. I wasn't trying to be like, look at me, I'm the better son, I'm the better one. I was never like that. Once we were like, I was a jerk as a kid. I wasn't even that nice. That was like actually a moral failing of mine. But when I was an adult, I never lorded that over him. I got really mad at him sometimes, but it wasn't from the context of like, be like me, or look, like it was always just like, why are you doing this? Why are you hurting our family? Why are you hurting our parents? So I got mad at him a couple times, and I've shared that in previous videos, but mostly I just tried to help him. I tried to talk to him, and he didn't really take it. But yeah, so I wonder if he felt shame and disappointment and disgust at who he was. And as I was in the middle of saying that, I realized that yes, he did, because he straight up told me he did. He was in this episode, I forget which episode number it was, 40, whichever one was the 2-year anniversary of his death. I read some of his messages to me, and I say some of the ones that I remember him sending me that I couldn't find. But he said he hated himself and used to wish a car would just hit him while he was driving so he could just be done with it. I hope he didn't feel, like, after he got clean. So he went to rehab in California, and all the people at the rehab center remarked on like how he just took charge in those conversations and shared a lot and was really positive and was just like a different person. And it was certainly different from like how I'd ever seen him act ever. And I don't think you can really do that. I don't think you can really come out of being at like the lowest point ever, like he'd been homeless for a while. I don't think you can really go from that to like what he was. He was like this super positive, like all the counselors were proud of him, like an inspiration, without getting humble, without like really getting some humility. Humility, and a lot of this is like has been shaped by the chapter of the book I read earlier, and it's almost fated that I read it today of all days, I guess. But humility sets you free from shame, and I think he must have. I think he just dove head first into it, and I hope that set him free from a lot. Like he wasn't ashamed. Like some of the stuff he was telling me that I read, like he was describing the process of like using and reusing a single-use needle to like poke holes in his veins and shoot up, and all this horrible stuff that I didn't want to hear. And he was describing that process just so like thoroughly and medically, and without any like self-hatred. He was just saying, this is what I did, this is what happened. He even made a joke about it. He was I forgot what the joke was. I think he was like LOL point or something, cause needle. No, he said I gave it a shot or something, and it was like LOL shot, and he said LOL shot. He joked about it. So and I don't think that came from a place of being proud of what he had done. I think he just so fully embraced his humility that he just became okay with openly talking about it and acknowledging it as an obviously wrong thing he did, but something that he did do. It's like something that he wasn't planning on doing again or anymore. But yeah, I don't know if I really have a point there. Jamison, I mean, I'm just thinking about disappointment in oneself and self-loathing and shame, failure. I'm just been on my mind, and this episode of this section of the gameplay, I fought what I thought was the final boss, got really close to the end of the fight and died. and like I was so close to the end, and I was like wanting to be done with it so I could start editing. And I died in that fight, and like it was like so bad and so rough that I wasn't even confident I'd be able to make it back to that point in the fight again, because it was like really hard for me. And so I was like really, yeah, I didn't want to die in that part, but I died and I was really frustrated. And so like most of this episode is me like backtracking from that fight to go do the Ratatouille minigame, so I could like power myself up and like go with the fight again with better stats and stuff. Which I decided to go ahead and include because it was part of my playthrough. And that was a failure, and like it's stupid because it's a video game, but like I felt dumb and bad about that failure. When I used to play RuneScape, the online like browser game, a ton, like a lot. I had a bunch of like maxed out 99 skills. But there's like a big, crazy, high level, like really challenging fight against a monster in that game called Jad. It's like optional, but you have to go to the fight caves, and you fight through like waves and waves of progressively harder and more like these enemies could kill you in one hit type enemies if you're not careful. And then at the very end you fight Jad, and it's just like ungodly, super, just stupid high level thing. It's like higher than it's possible, like way higher than it's possible for a maxed out player to be. And I watched videos on like how to do that, and I studied and I studied and I studied and I prepared and I watched videos like down to like the down to the millisecond, like when you click, to make sure that you like your protection prayer cancels out his move and you switch back to this other thing, all this crazy stuff. And I was like so in the zone, like, and I really wanted to beat it on my first try. I didn't want to fail, and it's stupid because it's a video game. But I actually did beat him on my first try. It was the only time I'd ever fought him, and the only time I ever fought him, and I beat him. And I feel good about that, because like if I failed, then I would, you never again get a first try. And I just wanted to beat him on my first try. It was a pride thing. And yeah, I just like I got that small victory, and I don't like to have to redo things. I don't like to fail and then go back and it's like, well, the only reason I passed is because I failed the first time, because I know other people passed the first time. And I know that's just life and everyone's different, and I'm aware of that and I realize that. But I don't like to, so I grew up, another thing the book talks about is you call a kid smart and they're going to think of it as like an unchanging like just part of who they are. If you praise a kid for being smart, they're going to be afraid to like try difficult things, because if they fail, it's like, oh, maybe I'm not smart. If you teach a kid to work hard and praise them for working hard, like, good job, I know you worked hard on that, they value learning more, they value the attempt, and they will still achieve the same things that they would have if they were just naturally talented. In theory, like, it all comes out in the wash because they tried, and they weren't afraid to fail. And all the motivational stuff about, oh, Abraham Lincoln tried to be president so many times, and then he was a really good president. So-and-so businessman went to all these different people. J.K. Rowling went to all these different publishers. Look how big Harry Potter is, all that stuff. Like, I'm not here to give you postcards and motivational stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I know that's just how things go. That's the human condition. Part of the human condition is being imperfect, and here's my imperfection: I really don't like failing. I don't like being ashamed of myself, and I'm not like blaming my parents. I had good parents, and they, but like I was always told I was smart, and if they praised me for working hard, I think that stuff maybe just didn't stand out to me as much as just when I was praised for being smart. Everyone told me I was smart. I think I'm smart. I think my brain has a decent amount of processing power. I don't think I'm as smart. Oh, whatever, I think I'm smart. But like, grandparents, parents, teachers, like other kids who like were nice, everyone was like, Jordan's smart. And so I don't like failing. And so even though people would say that stuff, like I have never, I am a confidence challenged person. All my life, no matter what, I have a hard time being confident in myself. I have never in my life felt good enough. Don't know why, really. I wasn't really like bullied. Like there was one or two kids in elementary school who like kind of bullied me, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as what like a lot of people get. It was mostly just verbal, and it just made me feel bad. It's more like I've gone most of my life feeling like a lot of people are just confused by me or baffled by me and or indifferent to me. and they don't get my jokes, and so I think I'm like really clever and funny, and they like don't get it, and it's like they're embarrassed to have been around me and watched me embarrass myself, and then that embarrasses me. And the thing is, like, I do think I am smart and funny. I don't think it's a failure of mine when necessarily when other people don't get me, because like it's like a paradoxical thing. I hold certain aspects of myself in high regard, and so like I think other people just, I think like they watch too much Saved by the Bell or Full House, whereas I was like deep diving into my own weird thoughts. But like the thing is, I can be happy with my uniqueness all I want, but like I can be proud of that and I can blame it on other people, but like I still feel embarrassed and bad when they don't get it. And so yeah, most of my life I have kind of felt passively rejected, like rejected almost unconsciously and automatically, like without a lot of or any ill will there. It's more like somebody, like something flew into their mouth and they were just surprised, and before they could even think about it they coughed it up. It's like that kind of rejected. I almost feel like I just every time I upload one of these videos and then like a lot of people don't pay any attention to it, like, or acknowledge, click like on Facebook. Like, Facebook is bad, social media is bad for the mental health, but every time I upload one of these videos I feel kind of bad. I feel like, oh, there's people, like I wonder if people think like there's Jordan doing his sad little video game project again with his cringy cartoon character Disney anime looking obviously bad and stupid video game. It's embarrassing, but we can't say anything about it because it's related to his brother's death, and so we're just gonna, let's not even touch that. Just don't touch that with the 10-foot pole. Just leave it over there. It's embarrassing. It's like you've been identified as an other, and just like not even trying to be mean, but just you're an other. People probably don't even think about it. They probably don't even interpret that way, but I'm self-conscious and I feel bad a lot. Always have. And even in elementary school, I used to, I'm really getting into it here. Like, I used to talk to my mom about this stuff as a kid. Like, at home, I'd be like, I don't think the kids like me, and like I would cry when I was talking to my mom, and she would like hug me, and she hated that I felt that way, and she would just tell me like they don't understand you or whatever. Like teachers reading us a book, and James and the Giant Peach or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches, whatever. Teacher's reading us a book, and we're all sitting around listening, and I like laugh at certain parts that I pick up on as the author's like dry humor. No one else laughs, and the teacher like later tells my mom, yeah, Jordan laughs at the parts the other kids don't laugh at. It's like, Jordan, I'm on a different wavelength. I'm not saying I'm better necessarily. I'm not saying I'm better, but I'm on a different wavelength, and so I've always felt that way, and then so I think that probably contributed to a lot of like my defensive tendencies as an adult. I don't want to seem too friendly because then other people are weirded out and they're not super friendly, and then I feel rejected, like, oh, I came on too strong. But then I probably just seem unfriendly to people, and I don't want to seem unfriendly. Like, I want to be the outstretched hand of kindness, but this is about Jamison, I promise. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff when I was a kid, I don't even know like, I know siblings as kids often just treat each other like crap anyway, but I feel like this may have a lot to do with why I acted the way I did towards Jamison sometimes, why I was just so like just mean and hateful sometimes as a kid, just like resentful. I would see him being what I thought was weak. He would cry when he had to get his photo taken with his class, and I would see him as like, I think he's being weak, and it would embarrass me because I think he shouldn't be that way. And so I'd get annoyed at him, which then probably just made him feel even worse. And I'm not him, and I wasn't in his mind, so me getting mad at him when he already feels bad and has been crying, like when you're a kid, all this stuff is significant. When you're an adult, this stuff is significant. When you're a kid, it's really significant. I don't know what kind of like hell I may have just routinely put my little brother through. I don't think I'm exaggerating, because when you're a kid, that's what it feels like. Like it does feel like big stuff to you. And yeah, God, I mean, like, I was like the bad guy in his life that he just couldn't get away from because we were brothers and lived in the same house, and I don't think I'll maybe ever fully understand the true extent of just what I put him through. We shared a room, like we shared a bedroom for such a long time, and I would argue with him at night, and I remember one of the times he called me stupid and I was getting really mad, and I went over and I punched him in the back and he started crying. I remember like one time he just started crying just in the middle of the argument we were having, and I was like, why are you crying? And he said, it's just the stuff you always say. Just the stuff you always say. Just a big sack of mean, just a big sack of hate, and I don't think I'll ever, even though I'm like sitting here trying to imagine it and appreciate it and like really understand it and feel it and know it, I don't know that I'll ever fully be able to actually know what it felt like for him to have to live with miserable me. And shame's not great. Guilt. Another thing the book says, and what I'm sitting here doing, is like ripping myself a new one. Healthy ways of dealing with shame. You don't tell yourself, I'm bad, I'm terrible, I'm a crappy person. You identify the problems and the way you messed up. And I guess that's guilt. That's like acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and you identify that stuff so that you can seek forgiveness, try to correct it, do better next time. And I did try to do better when I got older, and I apologized to him, and I've been over and over and over and over and over this stuff. I always tell the same stories during these videos. And we became friends as adults, and he told me, like, you are a good brother now. And I really don't think he held it against me. People tell me he loved me, his friends tell me he loved me. And I think he did. Like, I think we just liked each other as adults. I think my mom told me one time, like, he told her, like, I like Jordan. Which was a good feeling. It's like, okay, we've kind of come out the other side of all this shittiness of childhood. Yeah, man, that was a failure, huh? Like, I can't get that childhood back. He can't get anything back. Like, I did really well in college, and like I was like big fish in small pond, like Mr. Creative Writer Man for a while there. And so in my creative writing class, like my professor Barry encouraged me to submit a short story I had done for the class to the creative writing scholarship, and so I did, and I got the scholarship. I ended up getting that scholarship 3 times. I did well. It's another thing that, like, Jamison seemed to be doing well at art, and I was hoping he would do well in college and have the same positive self-esteem enhancing experience that I had. But anyway, but yeah, that story that I submitted, it was called Dead to Me, and it was actually about my brother. It was about Jamison. I think I might have changed the names, but it was specifically about how I felt like I had ruined my brother by being so mean, and I felt like I was responsible for him seeking just something other than what he had been, like, shackled to his whole life, like, because he just couldn't escape from our family, from me. I don't even know if I was that bad, but I feel like I was, and I felt like I was enough to write that story, I guess. I felt like I was responsible for him wanting to just get away and finding himself among people who, like, wanted to do that kind of stuff. I felt like I was partly indirectly responsible for him getting into drugs. And the story ended with him with, like, things... there wasn't, like, a specific big thing that happened, but the story just ended with, like, things are not great and there's no sign of them improving, and I kind of forget, because I blamed myself, but I also blamed him, and, like, I hated him, and so, like, that story was just me being mad at myself for my contribution to this current situation where I don't like who my brother is. And the Utada Hikaru pop song bastardization of the beautiful Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Ryuichi Sakamoto has just come on over the speakers. Utada Hikaru sings all of the songs for Kingdom Hearts, and she also sings this, whatever this song is called. You take this beautiful piano piece and you make it a pop song about aggressively being in modern love with someone. I don't know. I just looked over to my left. There's a bunch of guys inside, like having a meeting at a long table. They're all Korean, and one of the guys is wearing a shirt on the back of which, in big block letters, is the word Korea. And I thought that was funny. And then I realized that I myself right now am wearing this Incheon shirt. Incheon is where the big airport is. Anyway, this is the shirt I wore today when I failed my driver's course test. Okay. I'm not really sure what the takeaway here is. Failure sucks and no one likes it, and I don't like it, and I think failure and fear of failure, whether in like tasks or interactions with people or whatever, I think they stressed me out and gave me a lot of grief as a kid. Well, I know they did, and I think that contributed to my brother I think that contributed to my brother's life being made that much more unpleasant when I think he himself was already suffering from some of the same things I did. It manifested in him more as like disdain. He just thought a lot of the kids he went to school with were stupid. In me, it was like sadness and uncertainty about myself, like low self-confidence. But yeah, I've said plenty of times that I regret how I treated Jamison. And I just wonder, when he was in Colombia, when he was getting back into drugs and not telling us about it, I just wonder how much self-loathing he might have felt again. And I don't know, and I'll never know, because he never admitted to us that he was doing that stuff again. He just died, and that's how we found out. Like I said before in the video that sometimes I just want to freak out and just trash my desk. Like that still happens. I don't do it, but like I want to flip this table right now. Like I want to. This sucks. He never admitted to us that he did that stuff. That he had started doing it again. He just died, and so he was keeping all that stuff private. And you feel ashamed. You retreat. You retreat into yourself. It erodes your relationships with your family and like your loved ones. I just wonder how he felt about himself. Like this isn't going to be a comfort to anyone watching this, but I just don't know how he felt about himself in the last days and weeks of his life. And he was found dead in his apartment with a needle. I wonder what his like. He didn't like his apartment. He said it was like a tiny little like walk-in closet in a shitty part of town. And I just wonder how he felt about himself, and I hope he didn't. I hope he was really hopeful and really honestly intending to go back to California and make music with Josh and hike with Damien and be happy. I hope he really actually planned on doing that. I hope he wasn't like just hating himself. I think like shame, like what I say when I say shame in this context, the book I've been reading would probably define more as guilt, but like shame for like doing wrong thing. I think our society has gotten too far away from shame. I think there are times where you should feel bad about things that you have done that are wrong, or like modes of being that are harmful that you've engaged in. It doesn't mean you like just hate yourself, but you should let how bad you feel about them be a deterrent from doing them again. You should let it propel you into doing better, along with the imagined positive elements of life that'll arise when you start doing better. But I think shame is important, or guilt, whatever you want to call it. I think that stuff's important, but I don't want it to be the last thing my brother felt about himself. I don't want it to be all. Like, he probably was ashamed that he'd gotten back into drugs. I'm proud of him for sticking it out with sobriety for as long as he did. Because I know that wasn't easy to do. He succeeded for those 3 to 4 years. And I'm proud of that. It's hard to do. He said that the addiction was just, it followed him like a dark cloud. It's hard to do. And I don't want to diminish what he accomplished by, I mean, he was prospering. I'm so fortunate to have met all those people in California. His boss, Danny, who said that Jamison was a very big part of Ganal Lumber. Jamison was the best, he said. Like, he said, at the best, he was the best. Damien and Judith really liked him and respected him. I mean, Damien's best friend, Josh's best friend. Carlos and Dolores loved him. Our family loved him. Like, so many people spoke highly. I mean, I know, like, when someone dies, that's what everyone does, is they speak highly of him, of the person, but he had a lot of precious stuff. He was able to pull a lot of goodness into his life during that time, and so I just hope he was still able to, like, enjoy and appreciate some of that and just balance out some of the shame and self-loathing he might have been feeling from having relapsed back into drugs. I hope he was able to balance it out with something good. And I'm never gonna know because he didn't talk about it. Jamison and I, there was like, when I was like 14, he was like 9, when we started really getting into RPGs. Super Smash Bros. Melee came out, we played that, and then Ness was in Smash 64 and Melee, and then I was like, oh, I want to play Earthbound, where Ness is from. Downloaded the Super NES emulator and ROM of Earthbound, played that, loved it, became my favorite game, and then I downloaded Chrono Trigger, played that and loved it, and Jamison played Chrono Trigger as well, and that was kind of the beginning of us getting into, like, big into RPGs. And then we started asking Kenny when he'd come visit, like, please bring your PS2 and Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, so we can play those. And that's when we decided we wanted to save up together, pool our money to buy the PS2. And then we did that for like a whole, like, half a year, summer, something like that. Every little scrap of money we could get, we pulled it, we saved it, bought a PS2, bought Final Fantasy 7, bought Final Fantasy 9, and then we got Kingdom Hearts later. I think he got it for his birthday that year, and I think, and Kingdom Hearts, and that's how this all, I've told this story in the very first episode of this series, but anyway, I just wanted to bring up Chrono Trigger. The reason I came to this cafe, like, not for this video, but just the reason I wanted to check out this cafe in the first place is because one of the teachers who used to be in this program came back to visit and came to this cafe, and said it was like where he had his first date with the person he ended up with, and he said, this cafe plays Chrono Trigger music. And I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. It's like a classic Super Nintendo game. And I was like, where is that? And he told me, so I came here. And then I just thought this would be a great, because I wanted to record somewhere away from all the traffic and the sound, and this is kind of out of the way. So I thought this is going to be a great place to come and record someday. I need some variety, don't want to always go to the same places. We got the, let's see, the umbrella thing covering this table. so I can record in the rain. The owner of this cafe, well, first off, just the guy at the front counter, I like asked him, can I sit outside? And he was like, oh, but it's raining a lot. Like he said in Korean, like, oh, bi mani wasai or something. And I was like, yeah, no, like I just came from it. I have my umbrella, but like I need the rain. So I'm making a video and I need the rain. So then he's like, oh, wait a minute, and he went and got his boss. His boss was like, can I help you? And I explained the same thing. He's like, but it's a typhoon. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, I promise I'm okay. You don't have to clean the table. He said, let me go clean the table. And I was like, no, you don't need to. I need the rain for my video. So they let me sit out here. He did up the umbrella thing over the table. That was cool of him. I appreciate that. I haven't heard any Chrono Trigger music this time around. When I did come here before, they were playing like a remix, like an arrangement of Wind Scene, which is the 600 AD overworld music. I love that song. That was like always one of my favorites, and Jamison, I think, loved that song too. Just throwing it all in. Speaking of failures, I don't think I've actually addressed this on video, but the 2-year anniversary of Jamison's death episode, I recorded it on the anniversary because I wanted it to be on the day with the thoughts I had on the day, and then I quickly like dropped everything else in my life. I edited it together. Ooh, we got some thunder. I edited it together and I got it to rendering, and it was like long. It was like over 2 hours, like 2 hours and like 11 seconds or 17 seconds or something. And so it took a long time to export, so I let it go overnight. Woke up, it had finished, and I started, like I set it to uploading, and it was like the next day in Korea, but it would still be maybe the previous day in the States. So I was hoping I could get it uploaded and processed and ready to view like on the actual date of his death. Just because that's how I prefer to do things. That like I want it to be forever on YouTube on that date. And I almost succeeded. I think it ended up being the day after, but that's okay. But that of all videos, the one where the date actually matters, did not process correctly. At first, when you first upload a video, you can't view it. No one can view it because it's processing. And when it processes up to like standard definition, like 360p, then you can show people. Then people can view it. But 360p looks terrible. So I have it set on private, and after 360p it keeps processing, and it processes into like 720, 1080, and then if you have it at an even higher resolution, it'll keep processing more, and eventually you'll get the 1440p, like 2K, and then 4K. I do most of mine in 1440. But for whatever reason, this video of all the videos, like I uploaded it, and first it processed and processed, and it didn't finish processing at all. Like it never got to 360, so I had to take it down and re-upload it when I got home. Like a waste of the entire day. I was waiting the entire day, and it's just this of all days when the date actually matters, YouTube screwed it up on their end. Just some weird hiccup in the system. So I had to like take it down and re-upload it. And then wait longer, so that's why it was like a day late. And that one like processed to 360p and then kept processing all weekend. Usually it takes like 3 to 4 hours to get it to HD. This one processed all weekend and then just stopped. And like usually if you go to like your editor's page, it'll like show like SD is solid, and then HD is like fading in and out, like becoming semi-transparent, and then like fully opaque, and then the HD had just totally vanished. So it had just stopped processing, and 360 was the highest it was ever going to be. And I don't have enough subscribers to qualify for like YouTube's like directly ask them a question or troubleshoot system. You have to have like 1,000 subscribers for them to actually care about troubleshooting their technical problems on your videos. So I didn't have a way to directly contact them, so I used the support forum. And no one responded to it. So I multiple times used the feedback submission form with screenshots of the page showing, hey look, it didn't process past SD. and I described the situation in detail multiple times. I've probably done it like 10 to 15 times, and nothing's happened. YouTube has not acknowledged it. They're never going to do anything about it. So I have like an ugly 360p video for the 2-year anniversary of my brother's death, and I explained it was important to me for that reason too. YouTube did nothing. Have that video sitting on my channel, and it looks bad. Luckily, it's just me sitting in a dark room reading reading our messages off a computer screen. But like, I still want it to look good. And like, if anyone actually wants to watch the gameplay, which I don't think anyone does, but even if they do, like, that's gonna affect the gameplay. It's gonna look like trash. So I had to re-upload the video again, like days later after I finally, like, I waited because I was like hoping YouTube would just fix it, just like reinitiate the processing, let it process to what it's supposed to be. You have the file sitting there on your server, I can see it right there. Just process it again. Well, they didn't. I don't know why they have a feedback form if apparently no one's looking at it. There's gotta be a way for them to do it. But they didn't. I don't think they even read them. So, after like a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, I just uploaded the video again, and I was just like, yeah, I wish I could have had this on the anniversary of my brother's death like it was supposed to be, but here it is. And that one processed fine. So that one looks good. So I just put in the video descriptions like what happened of both videos, but just speaking of failures, I hadn't talked about that yet, and I wanted to. Thanks, YouTube. You rock. This is a negative video. This is an unhappy video. I just kind of got into it today, didn't I? Whatever. I'm not talk about feeling self-conscious or bad or whatever when like people don't acknowledge these videos. Like, I'm not, if they're not watching them anyway, they're not going to see this, they're not going to hear me say this. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to enact change by saying that stuff. I'm not like, oh, pity me, oh, poor me. I'm just keeping in the spirit of being as almost embarrassingly honest as possible about every single little detail of all this stuff that I think related to my brother. Maybe sometimes I make it too much about me, but I mean, I don't know, I'm still here and I'm dealing with it every day. So I have a nice mix of stories of the past and like how I'm feeling. And that's, I guess, just how I'm doing this. Do it however I want, you haven't gotta watch it. I don't really know how to end this, and I'm not gonna put some kind of fake positive spin on the end of it just to be like, dun 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 dun, things will get better, the sun will come out tomorrow, like whatever. But I do need to just go. Like, speaking of the book club and the book reading that I've said that I've been referencing all this time, I actually have to go join that meeting like really soon. I'm gonna be late. Luckily, the host is actually gonna be a little late today too. Like, my friend Tanner is waiting on me. He uses we joined the club over Zoom together with my setup, and I actually have to go. But yeah, no, I'm not just gonna. I guess this is just gonna be a video of me complaining and feeling sorry for myself a lot. Just me ranting about petty stuff in my life. I failed the driving test, and that just kind of shat on my entire day. I guess the silver lining is I didn't really quite know what I was gonna do for this video, but it just kind of all came together. It was almost beautiful when that car splashed me when I was walking on the sidewalks. I mean, no one recorded that, but at least I can tell the story. I was kind of worried like I was gonna like drop my camera and break it or something on the way here. This would have been like the cherry on top. But no, and then like after this there's just like 2 more videos of the main base game. And then there's still going to be some for DLC, so that's not quite the end, but there's no guarantee that the end is just going to be like positive and uplifting. I got to go out on a high note, because I don't want to just end all dreary necessarily, but I don't also just want to be fake happy and conform to storytelling standards. would rather go forward with honesty and earnestness and humanity. I'd like to have... I have to end this series eventually, and when I do, I hope it's just like a real, balanced, human ending. I don't want to... I'm serving this up to Jamison in the afterlife, and I don't want to serve him anything manufactured or shaped by conventional wisdom or conventional styles or trends, how things are supposed to be. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to follow like a 3-act structure. I don't want to... Oh, like it's raining, this is the low point, this is the part towards the end of the movie where all the main characters have a fight and they go their own ways, and it's like the low point and sad music's playing. But then they come back together before the end and they beat the bad guy, and it's like, here's the plot structure, good, rising action, oh no, sad thing, and then it like goes back. No, like I just don't want to be fake. So I don't know. I honestly didn't know I was going to make this video today. I had no idea what I was going to do, and then all the bad stuff happened and spiraled, and then it was raining, and I was just like, I have an idea. I think I know what to do for this one, and it kind of matches because I failed my first attempt at the last fight of Kingdom Hearts 3. So, but I don't know what I'm going to do for the future ones. At some point I need to play guitar. I don't know that I'm ever going to be good at guitar. Like, I practice and I don't feel like I make that much progress, just like how I go to the damn gym and I exercise, which I don't like doing, and I eat until I am too full and uncomfortable, and I eat healthy stuff and I still don't build muscle, and it's just like I can fail at everything. Why did I even start talking about that? I just kind of lost myself. Why did I even say that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to... Oh yeah, guitar. At some point I do have to like demonstrate that I've learned how to play guitar. Following my dreams and artistic pursuits the way Jamison did. And I'm doing that. I'm practicing. But just man, do I wish I made progress faster than I do. But yeah, that's going to be one of them. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of these. I don't know how it's going to end. I'm just saying, like, I don't have this stuff planned out, and I'm not a hack. I don't know how you can be a hack about your own brother's tribute series, but I'm not going to let outside forces influence how I do things and fake shape my own emotional stance on a lot of this stuff. I'm going to let my actual feelings and thoughts day to day shape this stuff. I'm giving Jamison something real. Here's me. Like, Jamison, you still know me because this is really me. That's what I'm offering up. This drink doesn't taste very good. Shrek and Fiona. It's not very good. The mint. It's just not good. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, and I'm just telling you that I don't know. I might be a hack in like a technical sense, like I'm not really a good cameraman or whatever. I just kind of, maybe sometimes I slop a bunch of vacation footage together because I don't want to spend too much time poring over it, although that's not really true. I'm getting down on myself. I actually spend a ton of time cutting stuff to try and make it look okay, and I don't need to keep talking about this. I gotta go to my book club meeting. I had footage of me describing how I like meet with them from time to time, and it was like in a coffee shop, and like there was like a machine humming, like an air conditioner unit or the lights or something, and it was just sound. The audio was really garbage, and like it was hard to get everyone in the frame, so you can barely see me, and everyone else looks really uncomfortable. I'm talking, and so I decided not to include that footage, but I did intend to say, like, this is something I do now to try and make positive use of my time. I have good friends there, and I appreciate that. Everyone needs human connection. I could keep going, but no, I need to stop rambling. I have to go to book club. This is the end of the video. Goodbye. Okay. Instead of thinking too hard about how to reposition everybody to fit into the shot, I'm just gonna do it like this and not take too long. But
You're just like in the corner.
if you watch the series, you probably know who I am. Bobby's appeared in a bunch of these videos, but like is Greg and Hal. So I try to do. I've been trying to immerse myself in.
We can close the door and then hear you better.
I didn't know we could do that.
Better sound, yeah.
You might have to push it with your hand.
Oh, like move the door?
Yep.
Physically move the door? Oh, like that.
That'll cut out some sound.
There we go. Cool.
Okay, yeah. So the okay, so. There's an earlier episode right before, it was like almost a year ago. I wanted to record something in Coffee Mission, and so the day before I visited, before you and I flew back to the States together, I was up here for some reason, and then I had my camera with me, and I went over to Coffee Mission thinking, I know it's like gonna close soon, so I want to like quickly record a video in it and talk about it, because it's been a huge part of my life here. And when I walked up to it and I got there and I walked up to them real time in that moment, tearing it out of the building, and I was like, well, I waited too long.
One day too late, man.
Yeah, and but yeah, I guess it would have been closed for a while by that point. But Hal is the brother-in-law of the owner of Coffee Mission, so I've known him and his family for a long time. I've talked in previous episodes about how they've been like my family in Korea, and Greg has just met you through
Teaching program and a few other times. Yeah. Coffee Mission.
Yeah. Seeing you around. And like I met your dad when I first came here. Canyon Church. And Bobby just was here for some reason. But yeah. This next video is just gonna be a mishmash of stuff. But this is just I've been trying to like branch out and do more kind of positive community, regular sort of stuff, like developing myself and my extremely basic and fledgling like knowledge of the religion that I've claimed as mine for most of my life, aside from a period through my teens and early 20s. So we've been reading Screw Tape Letters, which I've read before and it's really good, but we're reading it again. And yeah, I don't really know exactly, like, tie this in, it's just like after you lose a sibling and a bunch of stuff is weird and different and unpleasant in your life, you kind of start to try and do things to hopefully tug your life back in a positive direction. So this is one of those things. So I just figured I'd include a little bit of an explanation. We're about to talk about Screw Tape Proposes a Toast. We're almost done. We've been reading like one chapter per week for the past several months. Screw Tape Letters is a great book. C.S. Lewis, if you haven't read it. That's about it.